Alright, if you remember in the last video, we did some things to get ready to send the data up to the database, which we're going to do right here in our good code. But before we do that, we had to do a couple things. One of them was we had to compile the Volley libraries into our program, and we also created this MySingleton class, which we're going to use with the Volley back in our register fragment in here. So one of the other things we need to do is we need to, just like in PHP, we created a constants file that held certain information like the username, the password, and things like that. Well, we're going to do the same thing here, and what you're going to do is you're going to right click up here, click on new, click Java class. We're going to call it constants. Of course, you can call it anything you want, but just remember what you call it, because we're going to have to call on it later. And we're going to make some entries in here. Now, some of those entries, basically what we're doing is creating variables, and they're going to be string variables. Now this stuff here, public static final, that's just basically what you have to do when you type this stuff in. The first one we're going to call the db_URL, and that is going to be our URL for the website, which we'll go back and get that in just a minute. Down here we're calling register URL, and we're also creating a login URL because we're going to be using that once we get the register working and we've got information being passed to the database. Then we're going to have to come back and start doing our login side. So we're going to go ahead and get that now, get it out of the way, because it's a very short video, so we might as well do it now. So if you remember, we called the our register stuff over in PHP register.php, which called on the connect file, connect.php, and the connect.php called on the constants PHP file. So to do this, what we're doing is we're going to pass this once we go get it. So it's going to be that, whatever we put in here, plus register.php. And in the end, it would be like when we were over there messing with it and, you know, getting it, we were writing our if statements and having to spit stuff back to us, kind of the same thing. So let's go get this address. So you're going to go over to your internet. If you're not already there, go to your web hosting site. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. So you go to your file manager, you come down here, just click on this site down here, because that is your website. When it comes up, you'll have this right here. Now if you remember, we had everything under a connect folder. So you could click on the connect folder, and technically you could just grab that, hit Control C, then come back over to your Android, Control V, type it in. Now honestly, you don't need those 5 characters right there, because as I said, it's kind of like a computer. It's basically, you know, you got your directories, and then within that directory, so once you string that, which is right here, plus this, it would be just like saying register.php. So, but we don't need that. And the reason for doing it this way is because you want to keep your stuff as short as possible. You don't want to keep reusing certain things. I mean, if you have to reuse stuff too much, then your code gets long, gets confusing. If your website changed, you'd have to come in and you'd have to change it everywhere you have it. So you just want it in one spot. So if you change or move your database or anything, you just got to come in and move this, or basically change this URL. And as long as you keep your files the same, you should be good to go. So that's it for now. Go ahead and click File, Save All. Just make sure everything's saved. And we should be able to get started now. So I'll see you in the next video. And hopefully we'll be able to make this thing connect to the database and shoot some data up from our app.